Let's have some real fun today. It's a heck of a thing. It's 6:10 in Miami and it is 59 degrees. I'm wearing long sleeves inside the house. Well, it's a darn sight better. It was 39 degrees at 5:30 this morning when I woke up to go work out. So anyhow, so here's the question. If Bruce Lee's life hadn't ended so soon and in such a tragic way, if he were still alive, would he still be considered a legend or just a great martial arts actor? So this is a good one to pick apart because, as you will soon see, in coming up with answers, people indulge, some of them in their wildest fantasies, in make-believe, in wishful thinking, and even in dreaming. And even if they do hit on an aspect of reality, it's still somewhat informed by their subjective viewpoint. Okay, hello everyone. This is Dwight Woods, a Jeet Kune Rebel, and welcome to the I Love Jeet Kune broadcast number 111. This is the one about what if Bruce Lee had not died. So as you're logging in, if you guys would be kind enough to say where you're logging in from, who's here? Mark David Collins, Mark Medeiros, Bob Landers, Terry Valor from Berkshire. All right, sweet. Okay, so if you guys would hit the like button and feel free to continue doing so throughout the broadcast. So like I said, this is a good one to play with because of, the answers will run the entire gamut. I mean, just go all over the place, right? So I'll give you the first example. And I couldn't stop laughing when I did the read through. All right, so listen to this. So following his life trajectory, assuming that he solved his mafia problem and painkiller addiction, both likely as he was both wise and determined, I suspect Bruce Lee would have made 2 to 3 more major action movies before the pain of regular training to stay in peak condition was too much. Again, with minimal painkillers and 70s knowledge of pain management. From there, he expressed a great deal of interest in politics and likely would have gone on to become a senator or maybe at least at first congressman. I would also expect him to be a prolific writer and TV personality. As a popular senator with a national audience who has successes in reaching across the aisle, who cannot run for president, Lee would likely have been instrumental in liberal causes during the Clinton era, leading the charge for intelligent immigration reform, healthcare, and education. I swear to you, that is an actual opinion that was expressed. Okay. All right. Here's another one. He would be far less famous today. Bruce Lee was a fantastic martial arts proponent who brought never seen before moves, right? Bruce Lee brought moves to the Western audiences. But the reality of him as a fighter was that he wasn't any better than many other Eastern martial artists of the time. Had he lived longer, it would have become more apparent as time went on that a lot of the myth and legend around him was exactly that. In terms of his legacy, the timing of his death was perfect, really. Real shame, though, he was undoubtedly an amazing man in terms of his philosophy as well as his martial arts dedication. And maybe with his interest in politics, I don't know where they got this from, and his charisma, he could have brought some of that philosophy more to the public's attention and made a real difference, not just some cool movies. Right, so I had a great time reading that stuff. So anyhow, right? Okay, so let me answer a couple of the actual opinions, right? So as a popular senator with a national audience, I mean, talk about projection, right? Which is very common in today's political climate. This person's gone ahead and heaped a whole lot of wishful thinking, I believe, on Bruce Lee's political career as a member of the Clinton Democrats, right? And I ask, based on what? I don't know everything about Bruce Lee, but I can't recall ever reading anything that would indicate that he had a deep and abiding interest in politics overall, or even liberal politics in particular. All right, so that's my take on that one. The other one, but the reality of him as a fighter was that he wasn't any better than many of the Eastern martial artists of the time. All right, so I'm going to play with the technology here. So as somebody who grew up watching all of the Chinese Kung Fu films of the 1970s era, I can tell you that as much as I enjoyed these guys, so here are, let's see, that's T. Lung, David Chang, Fu Sheng, Chi Quan Chun, and Meng Fi, I believe, right? So these are the guys from, Bob Landers, where are these guys from? I'll give you 2 seconds to answer, Bob Landers. This is a still from what movie? Okay, you're taking too long, right? Okay, so those are the guys from 5 Shaolin Masters, right? So I grew up watching them. I grew up watching, this guy was one of my favorites. This is, that's Chi Quan Chung. He was just a literal shred. He was just one shred. And this is my other hero of the time. This is Chen Quan Tai, the Iron Monkey, right? So I grew up watching all of those guys. And to say that, and those guys were talented for sure, and they did great jobs in promoting the Chinese arts, but, and it is a big but, they had no message in their martial arts. They were content to do their yeoman work for Shaw Brothers et al., you know, collect a paycheck, be a movie star, and then move on to their next project. So to equate them with Bruce Lee, I'm not in favor of that. Even before his first movie, we know that Bruce Lee was on the scene with a distinctive message because he had already delivered said message to us as a writer here and here, I think, in this one. You guys will be familiar with this. This is October 1967 of Black Belt magazine, right? And then followed up the next month in this one, right? And my good friend Richard Torres, he and I had a little discussion about this, and he put me in touch with these two just recently, right? So Bruce Lee came onto the scene with a message, and he left us with not a product known as Jeet Kune, but a process instead, an ongoing process. So we're left, of course, we're going to have to deal with imagination and our own subjective opinions and what have you, right? So I imagine Bruce Lee continuing to make movies. I imagine him getting tired, so to speak, of working only in front of the camera, right? So this is me indulging in, based on what he did, right? So this is table reading as director in Way of the Dragon, and this is beside the camera or behind the camera, again, as director of Way of the Dragon. So I imagine Bruce Lee continuing to make martial arts movies, utilizing all the technology that came along in the years after 1973, and then, you know, perhaps even transitioning ultimately to mainly behind the camera. Another area that I like to imagine Bruce Lee having an influence in, transforming Jeet Kune into a major force on the martial arts scene, right? As someone who appeared to have how should I put it, a penchant for professionalism, right? When we take a look at Bruce Lee's personal stationery, right? So his envelopes and his, you can't see the logo in the top here. It's obscured by my own logo, but that's Bruce Lee, examples of Bruce Lee's letterhead and stationery, right? So I think he was somebody who definitely had a penchant for professionalism. So I like to imagine him leading or even joining the march towards JKD as a profession for those who wanted it. The other thing that I think of, I got to show you something here, right? I like to think that he would have ensured that there was a bit more cohesiveness among the JKD groups. And indeed, who knows if there would have been any kind of a split. in JKD leadership if Bruce Lee was still around. So to me, here's something that kind of encapsulates that idea. I came across this only recently. So this is Herb Jackson, Dan Inosanto, Daniel Lee, Richard Bustillo, Ted Wong, Jerry Poteet. I mean, all stalwarts of JKD of the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. And now these guys have all, well, not all, but a lot of them have passed on, and they have left a legacy in their own right, and they've left their own instructors. And this is this picture to me represents something that that could have been. I imagine Bruce Lee becoming a major cultural force in society, and ending up showing the world at large how martial art is the perfect vehicle for personal growth and development. Now, of course, I would be remiss if I didn't say that, yeah, he'd definitely be investigating Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, because I know somebody's going to go, hey, Dwight, you didn't say anything about Bruce Lee and BJJ, right? Whatever. No, I'm sure that there would have been something, right? Okay, so what are your thoughts on this? Feel free, share, like, comment, ask questions if you want. I will review everything after posting. Sign up for notifications for when we go live here on Facebook, and also when we put the final edit video up on the YouTube. Subscribe over on the YouTube for the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast, for the Jeet Kune Do dialogues, and for the FMA files. And when you do subscribe, please make sure to hit the notification bell. Follow me on Twitter at Dwight Woods, and on Instagram at Dwight D. Woods. ilovejeetkundo.com, Quick Skill Series Volume 1 still available. Volume 2 being produced in 2020. Coming up on Friday, January 24th, Jeet Kune Do Dialogues episode number 108 with Randy Ciordia of Titan Gym. That's this Friday at 6 p.m. Today's a beige, brown, and pink shirt. I'm wearing, there you go. I'm wearing long sleeves inside the house. It's ridiculous here in Miami for another couple of days. All right, so I'll see some of you on Friday at 6, and the rest of you, I'll see you back here next Wednesday for another issue of the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast. This is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel, signing off. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Take care now.